Alright, so we're in 5.4 and we're given an n, we're given a p, and we're looking for the mean and the standard deviation of a binomial distribution. So I took a question straight from your homework like I usually do, and it says, assume that a procedure yields a binomial distribution with n trials, and the probability of success for one trial is p. Use the given values of n and p to find the mean, which is mu, and the standard deviation, which is theta. Also use the range rule of thumb to find the minimum usual value and the maximum usual value, and it gives the equations there. So the first thing I did was I went through and I took the n and I pasted it down so it was in its own separate cell so that I can just look at it later and I can just click the cell. And I did the same thing with p. So we need to find q because in our standard deviation formula we have the square root of n times p times q. So q is just 1 minus p, so we can just do 1 minus and then p and just hit enter. So basically it's the complement of p, which is 0.6. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to find the mean. And the mean formula is given to us as n times p. So it simply just equals n asterisk p. If you want to use the product function, you can. That's up to you. If you do, it would just be equals product n comma p, and you will get the same answer. So that's up to you which way you want to do it. You'll get the same answer either way. So for the next part of it, you want the square root of n times p times q. That'll give you the standard deviation. So it'll be equals sqrt. That's the function for square root. And then you want an open parenthesis. Again, you can just use asterisks or you can use product. For this one, since there's 3 values, I'm going to use product. And then I'm just going to do n, comma p, comma q, close my parentheses, and because I have 2 open parentheses, I need 2 closed parentheses, and then I can just click enter. And then it gives me my standard deviation. So the next part is to use the range rule of thumb. So the range rule of thumb says to find the standard deviation by finding the range and dividing it by 4. In this case, we're given the standard deviation, so we're just going to use the standard deviation. So the formula is mu plus 2 times theta. So the mean plus 2 times the standard deviation. So the mean equals the mean plus 2 asterisk. Because there's only 2 values, I'm only going to do the asterisk instead of using product, and times the standard deviation, and just click enter. And then you're going to do the same thing again, except you're going to use minus instead of plus 2 times standard deviation, hit enter, and there is your maximum value and your minimum value. So all of your homework questions are very similar to this, so I only chose the one question instead of doing multiple like I normally